Stephanie Vaquer earned this. Welcome to Influential Sports, where passion meets precision. As I'm your host, Ed, diving deep into the plays, players, and stories shaping the game. Make sure you leave a like, hit that subscribe button. And I'm here to talk about Stephanie Vaquer specifically and her match against EO, and really how we got here, how we got to this match. Because honestly, WrestlePalooza, it was all right. I guess I give it a 6.5 out of 10. But this was the only match I didn't have any issues with, and I think I just start with the match itself. I had a feeling this would be the two matches I was looking forward to was both of the women's matches, which one had to be pushed back to next week because Tiffany is injured. So aside from that match, I was looking forward to this match the most. And this was right in the middle of the card, which is weird for a women's world championship match. That didn't make any sense to me. And then you see me looking to the side, I'm watching the WNBA playoffs. But Stephanie Vaquer and EO's match being directly in the middle of the card didn't make sense to me. And this would have made more sense to start the show for the vacant Women's World Championship. Like that's the Women's World title on Raw, but you had this come on before the Seth and Becky match. This match had a better like this. Like, I don't get the placement of this match on the card. Like being directly in the middle for a Women's World Championship match. If it wasn't going to end the show, which it couldn't because Cody and Drew was the main event. If it wasn't going to close the show, have this open the show. Like, okay, you had Brock Lesnar and John Cena, one of the most disappointing matches of the year. You had that open the show and it under-delivered. That was a terrible match. But Stephanie Vaquer versus EO, this was a really good match. This was the match of the night. Probably top 10 match of the year. And in all the wrestling, I'm top 15 at least. But I think this got an argument at the end of the year. Up to this point, I think this is a top 10 match of the year. I could definitely make that argument for this because the way it started was just being a test of strength between Stephanie and EO. Like Stephanie and EO, they've had two matches prior to this, just 2 matches prior to this, just to prove who's the better between the two. The first one came when Stephanie was NXT champion, and the other one came when Stephanie was on the main roster to prove why she should she would be able to beat Naomi. And both of them ended in no contest because somebody else interfered, which I don't know why we got to keep doing this when it comes to these matches. Have all these DQ finishes and no contest. Like, that don't make sense to me. But those their two matches were. Those are the two matches were at that point. They ended in no contest. And one because they had to throw with Roxanne and Julia, and then Rhea was involved somehow. But those were the first two matches they had, ended in no contest. So this third match, obviously EO had something going on, and I'll explain how we got here with why EO and Stephanie was the perfect match to have. But just the match itself, this being their third match and finally having a clear, clean, decisive winner, a test of strength early on between both women, since at this point they had good chemistry in those prior matches, and you had multiple roll-up attempts early on. But then once you got past that, it wasn't like they went for, after the multiple roll-up attempts early, it wasn't like they went for hella pins within the match. Like the story of it was like they were trying to wear each other down, which they did that. It got to the point where EO took her knee pads off, which she usually has her knee pads on throughout the entire match. But it got to the point where EO had to take her knee pads off. She was never able to hit the over the moonsault. I think when she attempted it, Stephanie got her, she hit her feet up to reverse EO's over the moonsault attempt. And then Stephanie didn't even win the match with her finisher, the SBB. And she used some corkscrew move off the top rope. It was kind of like similar to the Whisper in the Wind. That's how she ended up winning the match. But it was like this match was so physical, it required EO to get more physical by taking the knee pads off, and her knee would give out on her because it's just more pain to the knees. Stephanie was able to take advantage of that. Obviously, the Devil's Kiss, it took a few attempts to do that since EO know her so well, but it got to the second attempt and she was able to do it. And it's like I said, Stephanie used something that wasn't even her finisher to win the match, and that honestly looks better than her finisher. I like that. Her finisher isn't bad, but I like that move more, especially. And then this match, you didn't have a hella finisher spam like in the John Cena and Brock match. You had John Cena hit 3 AAs immediately, but it's like you had this match where you only seen one finisher. EO was never able to hit her finisher. Stephanie Vaquer went for the Devil's Kiss 2 or 3 times, and she wasn't able to do it until that last attempt. But obviously, she didn't win the match after that. Like I said, EO attempted to over the moonsault. Stephanie Vaquer kicked her legs up, then she did that corkscrew move to win the championship. And this makes the most sense because it's like The way this match was booked was perfect in my opinion. Some people felt like it went long. I think it had perfect timing. But it's like you don't get Rhea, who she said she was back to the championship, but she don't need to be involved. Obviously, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Io, they have something going on. Nikki Bella involved uh, in that vortex somehow. But it's like you don't need anybody getting involved. That third match, third time's a charm. You get an amazing match, get a clean, decisive winners. Both women look great. Like I said, top 15 wrestling match of the year. So Stephanie Vaquer, she earned this moment. She's worked her ass off to get here. And a lot of people, I mean, it's been mixed reactions about Stephanie winning or about this match happening in the first place. But let's talk about why Stephanie and Io happened to begin with. Io was the former women's world champion. Then Naomi cashed in and she pinned Rhea in she pinned Io when she cashed in. And then in the triple threat match they had at SummerSlam, Rhea took the pin from Naomi. Io didn't get pinned in that match, so because when she got cashed in on, she was already deep into the match. So Io was gonna get her proper one-on-one rematch against Naomi for the championship. But plans changed because Jimmy Uso didn't proceed with caution, and we know what that led to. So then you had Io, who was supposed to be next in line, and Stephanie, who won the Battle Royal, the Evolution Battle Royal, which was a guaranteed #1 contenders for the Women's World Championship. So why would Stephanie not be in the match? Why would Io not be in the match? If they're the next two in line, Io, since she didn't get pinned in the triple threat at SummerSlam, and Stephanie Vaquer, because she won the Battle Royal, there was a guaranteed #1 contenders shot at the championship. Why would those two not be in the match? Rhea being in the match doesn't make sense. She just took a pin, and she needs something new to do. She's been in the championship picture the entire year. Like they cannot be her entire character. She needs to venture off and do something else. Like what she's doing now, it can work. If her and Io become a tag team, like that can actually work. You can't just put Bayley in a championship match just because you like her. Like that don't make sense. We don't even know what Bayley's character is right now. And if it's that split personality thing, that's stupid because you already have R-Truth doing that. So you need a woman for Raw and a man for SmackDown. No, we don't need it. She just needs to be a heel or a face. Bayley doesn't need a mixed character. She really needs to be a face because they don't have strong faces in the mid-card division. She could be a face with an edge, but she don't got to have a split personality. That doesn't make sense. So like Asuka, she could get a shot versus Stephanie Vaquer, but you can't just throw women in here because you don't like these women. Like these are two amazing women in ring, and they both earn their shots. Io's got her first world title reign, it was bad, yes, but her second one, it could have went way better if it was booked properly. They weren't booking her well, which that's been a constant issue this year. And that's probably the only thing Triple H has been decent at is booking the women, but he still fucks that up somehow. Like you fuck up the one thing that you're semi-decent at, which is booking the women, because you still don't know what the hell you're doing with Julia. But that's not the topic of this video. But Stephanie and Io, anybody else being in this match wouldn't have made sense because they both earned their opportunity to get here. Everybody knows the logic of if I don't get pinned in the triple threat match, I technically didn't lose. That's how the logic works in wrestling. So that person always gets another shot at the title. And Stephanie won a Battle Royal, like I said, and nobody had a problem with it. Not many people questioned her winning the Battle Royal, which was a guaranteed shot for her to go after Naomi for the Women's World Championship. So I don't see the problem here. And a lot of people think it's early for her to win a championship. Was it early when Julia became the third ever Women's United States champion? And Stephanie Vaquer is the sixth ever Women's World champion, a Women's World Heavyweight champion since that's been introduced. Julie was the third ever Women's United States champion. As soon as Liv Morgan got injured, Roxanne replaced her immediately to become tag team champions. Was that too early? So it wasn't too early when Julia or Roxanne became champions, but now it's too early when Stephanie Vaquer becomes champion. That doesn't make sense to me. How is it too early if both of those women won championships before her and they got caught up at the same time and she's the best of those three? Does that make sense? And you can't compare the men to the women because they have completely different bookings. And it's like you can't compare Carmelo Hayes to Stephanie Vaquer. That don't make sense. Carmelo Hayes is in the tier of Braun Breaker and Austin Theory, those younger guys. And I mean guys, not girls, the men in WWE. Compare Carmelo Hayes and people like that to the other men in WWE that got called up. Don't try to put Stephanie Vaquer in a conversation with Carmelo and completely ignore the fact that out of the 3 NXT women's call-ups this year, that she was the last one to win a championship, and it took her the longest. It took her till September to finally win a championship. and her match had to be pushed back. But it wasn't too early when Julia became Women's United States Champion. And her booking has not been good because she's still not doing anything with the title, and that's not on her. But y'all didn't say it was too early then. Roxanne stepped in for Leah Morgan as soon as she got injured, but it wasn't too early. They weren't even Roxanne and Raquel weren't even cool at that point. Roxanne had to earn her way into it, and she was still holding the championship. So what? So if it's too early for Stephanie Vaquer, it should be too early for them by y'all's logic. But I guess not. But I guess y'all don't know how to build stars. That's the reason why Austin Theory was the youngest ever United States champion under Vince McMahon. You have to build stars in the industry. And Stephanie Vaquer, that's the perfect marketing choice to build a star. How do you think Rhea is being built? That's why she's always in championship matches. But the problem with Rhea is her character hasn't progressed. And they haven't been given a good storyline this year. That's my problem with Rhea. But if y'all say y'all want stars to be built and complain when it's Stephanie in the title picture saying it's too early, but have no problem with Rhea being there all 9 months of the year, no matter what Rhea's doing, she still finds a way to go after the Women's World Championship, but that's not a problem. Please make that make sense to me. That's not a problem. Okay. Yeah, see, I don't really see how that works. But Stephanie Vaquer, she's amazing. And people people like to make up lies and say that Stephanie is average in ring, this and that. I don't know why we're making this up. Like Stephanie and Julia's match, the match they had in Japan was much better than the one they had here. Not because of how it's booked, but because Julia was injured when they had their match in NXT. You know, I was like, well, why did they make Stephanie double champion? They had to pull an audible and do something. See, and y'all try to blame Stephanie Vaquer for that. Shawn Michaels was the one that made her double champion. She didn't make herself double champion. You think Stephanie Vaquer got creative control? Like, Stephanie is great in ring, and she proved it in this match. Even Io proved why she's one of the best in the world when it comes to in-ring work. And it's like her English has improved over this entire year that she's been in WWE. People are saying she's overpushed. How the hell do you build stars if you aren't getting pushed? That don't make sense to me. Braun Breaker was a 2-time IC champion. Was he overpushed? Austin Theory was the youngest ever United States champion and youngest ever Mr. Money in the Bank. Was he being overpushed? You can't. Like, how can you be overpushed if the goal is to build stars? Like, it's always just complain of, oh, we don't have younger stars. But then when WWE tries something, when they take a chance with somebody, it becomes a problem. I don't understand that. Like, Stephanie Vaquer, she's worked her ass off and earned this, from wrestling in Japan to having matches with Julia overseas, having matches with Mercedes one day, and then coming over to America, learning English, starting off in NXT. Because she was so talented, she could have went to the main roster, but she went to NXT to improve her English. She did that. She got caught up quickly around Stan. It was a little bit after Stan done delivered because she retained the title in that match. But she got caught up soon. They seen the star power. They seen the look, the in-ring talent, and she's decent on the mic. Like, she can cut promos. She don't need to cut a 5-star promo every week. If Stephanie can put on 5-star matches and cut 3-star promos, she'll still be fine. Like, not everybody is the best on the mic. Jey Uso is just world heavyweight champion. And a lot of people did complain about that, but that's just an example of, you don't have to be the most talented on the mic to become a world champion. So now there's been a lot of positive reactions as well. I'm not going to ignore that. I do love to see that's been a lot of positive reactions for Stephanie Vaquer winning the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, which I think she made the most sense to win it. Now, if Naomi was here, I don't know what would have happened. I think Naomi would have retained, but who knows at this point. But Stephanie should get a decent reign with it. Like, she can have a match with Rhea, she can have a match with Asuka, but Stephanie, she was perfect for this moment. I think it makes the most sense to put the title on her. Like I said, you can only compare Stephanie to the women. You can't compare her to the men of NXT that's been called up lately. You have to compare her to the women of NXT that's been called up lately, who won championships before she did. But yeah, this entire, like, even the match Stephanie had with Fallon Henley when she lost it, like, that was still a good match. That still had a story to it. Her team with Lola Vice. Like, Stephanie Vaquer, it's not just one moment that she has with Julia where her match was mediocre, despite them having a much better match not too long ago over in Japan. Like, she's done stuff in NXT that's been entertaining, like the Fatal 4-Way in the build to that with Jada Parker, Lola Vice, and I forget who else was in it, but it was somebody else. Or it might have been a triple threat. But the fatal four-way with her, Roxanne, Cora Jade, and Bailey. Like Stephanie's been having a hell of a year doing her thing in NXT, then coming to the main roster. Like it's the reason she got caught up quick. Like I said, she didn't have to start in NXT, but she did that. She improved her English. The in-ring work has been great. Like there's not many bad Stephanie matches you can recall, and even her promos. Like you can't recall really any bad Stephanie promos. Like sure, it might not be the best, but even her English isn't her first language. So are we not giving people a pass for that now? And for somebody that doesn't speak English as her first language, that being her second language, she speaks as well, and she's continued to improve, and she's gonna do that. Like she's on a great trajectory right now. Her feud with Ivy now was cool when she first got called up. I like to see them revisit that in her world championship run. Like they could be a match they do on Raw. It don't gotta be a PLE match, but I mean it could because they did Rhea Ripley versus Selena Vega. Like even if you just give Ivy now the match, that's a showcaser and have her as a threat for the IC championship. Like run that back. Like you have plenty of options you could do. Like that's the way you could build Ivy now. Like Triple H booking hasn't been the best, and like that's pretty obvious. But that's something you could do. Ivy now is something you can explore. Like obviously Asuka, Rhea, those are big matches that need to happen. And she just had a very good match with Kairi Sane on this past Raw. So she had a great match with Kairi Sane on Raw. Then she had to wrestle on NXT the next night. And then she was in a match against Io, which was the best match of WrestlePalooza in the same week. Like this is the same woman that wrestled 3 matches in the span of 48 hours during Money in the Bank weekend. Like her work ethic is insane. Like it's not many wrestlers wrestling 3 matches in the span of 48 hours. But you know what? Yeah. Stephanie Vaquer, new women's world heavyweight champion. Well deserved. Definitely earned it. She was the perfect option to win this title. But yeah, my top 3 opponents I want to see her face is Rhea Ripley. I want to see her face Asuka first, then Rhea, then Ivy now. And then the last thing I'll say is the reason why Io wouldn't made sense is because she just had it and WWE booked her reign terribly. So if we know WWE booked her reign terribly, and they recognize that too, like they know that they fucked up, why would they give it back to her as if they want to improve it? Like I don't think that would make sense. And she's in a feud with Rhea Ripley and not Damage Control, the Kabuki Warriors right now. The story is that it's going to end up being a tag team match. It's going to be a tag team feud between the Kabuki Warriors, Rhea and Io. Having a title involved in a tag team feud is stupid. Like you don't need, like if the goal is for either one of these teams to go after the tag titles, that's cool, but you don't need double champions. Like that's a problem that WWE is kind of running into, is having champions go after other titles. Like you don't need that. It's like Trick and Oba. What's the point of them unifying the NXT and TNA? Not unifying, but being a double champ for NXT and TNA when both of them work for NXT. That don't make sense. Like, you don't need to fall into the trap of having double champions. That's an AEW problem. That's a huge problem AEW has. WWE doesn't need to fall into that, making all these people have multiple championships from other promotions or just being double champions in general. Like if you have a tag team feud, there's no reason for a single title to be involved. Like they can still have one-on-one matches, but you need to be able, like these wrestlers need to be able to have non-title feuds. Like you can't just be in the title picture the entire time. Like that's what some people are, but we don't need that right now for the women's division. Like, some of these other people, they need stuff that they can do on a consistent basis just for the next few months. Like Rhea could be, like even if Rhea and Io is only a tag team for 4 or 5 months, that's something new that they haven't explored yet. Like you can't keep doing the same thing because it's gonna get repetitive and people are gonna get tired of it, which is what's happening with Rhea now, which is why her being in a tag team or in a tag team feud makes more sense. Like even if Nikki Bella and Brie come back and them being a tag team, like if they were to be in that feud with the Kabuki Warriors, Rhea and Io, like you can't put the title on Io if you're teasing this tag team feud and teasing the split of the Kabuki Warriors. Like certain stuff is above a title at this point. Like when Rhea and Io face each other again, a title won't matter. It's just gonna be the fact that Rhea has never defeated Io. That's what's gonna be more important. That's gonna be what the story is based off of. But that's all I got for this video. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, comment what y'all thought, share for others to see, and Congratulations to Stephanie Vaquer becoming new Women's World Heavyweight Champion.